It is Wednesday night. It's May 17th, 2023. The full band's back together again tonight. I'm Tanner Lee, along with my co-host Paul Zarman and the reigning defending KOP predictions champion, at least for another week or so, Austin Shepard. Fellas, what's going on?
Another week.
Glad to be back.
It's going to be a cakewalk.
Cakewalk, huh?
Cakewalk.
Cakewalk, huh?
We'll see.
Got some new matches added to the card tonight, so hopefully a lot more to come within the next week.
It's going to be a 7-hour show.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No doubt about it. And they need to move some tickets. Ticket sales are not doing so hot for this pay-per-view.
I don't think Vegas is a hot wrestling city.
I don't either.
It's
and
not.
you've ran Double or Nothing there, so this could be the fourth one 3 times, which I understand with the name of it. But if I'm Tony next year, I'm thinking about moving it somewhere else.
Yeah, and nothing against Vegas. I mean, I used to be my Vegas 20s, as I called it. I felt like every other weekend. But, I mean, there's so much to do in Vegas. You know, people go – there's like – I felt like there was 3 types of people that go to Vegas. You got your gamblers, okay? You got your people that go out there for the shows and the food. And then you got your convention people. Okay? Those are the 3 times. Like you just don't say, hey, me and the wife are going to take a week off and go relax. You don't go to Vegas. Because you can't relax in Vegas. There's just too much stuff going on.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, you know, the reason I go to Vegas nowadays is because I go to on a golf tournament trip. You know, I played golf 4 days in a row. I'm not going to go out to Vegas for 4 days in a row and be like, I have nothing planned. You know, my degenerate ass would be drinking mimosas, playing video poker at 8 a.m. By noon, I'm going to be blacked out drunk playing blackjack. And at 3 o'clock, I'm going to bed. That's my day in Vegas if I don't have anything to do.
Well, you talked about playing golf in Vegas. You played golf with Marty, and we got a comment right off the bat tonight. Where's that bum, Marty McSorley?
Marty McSorley's a legend. Oh, man.
I don't know. Shep got.
Dude, that dude told so many great stories after a round of golf in Phoenix. Now, he probably had a couple Molson extra dries in him, okay, because that's what we drink up in Canada. But he was a hell of a storyteller and a hell of an entertainer. And again, me, a guy that knows nothing about hockey and sat in what they call a hot box after a golf tournament with a bunch of Canadians and hockey players. There was like 15 Stanley Cups on the stage. It was awesome. And my favorite was Marty McSorley, and he's a legend. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, Majin, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Majin Silva, who follows our show, he'll disagree with you on Twitter. This might be him right here talking on YouTube.
He doesn't like Marty, but Marty's got the great stash, man. He's a freaking leader.
If he was half a player as he was a storyteller, he'd be a league player.
Well,
that's pretty good.
Hey,
it's pretty good. Pretty good.
And unfortunately, I was probably still in diapers when Marty was running the league, so I don't have a lot of tape on old Marty, but he's a hell of an individual.
It is his Majin tuning in, so thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Thanks for giving Shep shit. Somebody needs to. So
yes, I love it.
Yeah,
and by
keep
the way,
it coming.
I did send it to all my the last Twitter exchange. I did send it to all my Canadian car dealer buddies that are on that golf trip with me, and they rolled. They thought it was awesome. So they understand way more.
He's chiming in here about Double or Nothing Vegas. He agrees. Can't keep running the same market. Oversaturated. Yep. I'm thinking one of these days they're going to do that with All Out with Chicago too. But
hey, I'm getting there. I was just letting Tanner finish up his thing there. So, Shep, what are we drinking tonight? So, what are we drinking, Shep?
So, I've been seeing this on a lot of golf social media. I'm a big golf nut. You guys know that. And I was a kid that grew up in the late 80s, 90s, and if we didn't have orange juice at breakfast, what do we have? As a
Apple
substitute.
juice. Sunny D.
Oh, he got one of those Sunday vodkas.
Yeah, I've never tried one. I
I
wanted
heard they're pretty good.
So I got them. They're ice cold. So this is a Sunny D vodka review right off the bat.
Major drinking some Labatt Blue. I
Oh,
can respect that.
I do love Labatt Blue. I had some a couple of pods ago. Yeah, so here we go. It's gluten free, and I love
It's gluten free.
it say Sunny D on it, but they have to put the contains alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nowadays.
Well, you can see a kid just, Sunny D.
Yeah. So, I mean, these things have like super hype behind them. So, here we go.
One sip, everybody knows the rules.
Yeah.
He's unsure. One
This is
sip,
a
everybody knows
long
the rules.
pause. Uh-oh. Now that half the can's gone.
Oh,
or the
interesting
whole
face
can,
there. Interesting face.
Second drink might not have been as good as the first. Or it's really good and he just doesn't want to talk.
I think it's down already, the whole can. Still waiting for the review
The
here.
can is now empty.
That tastes like
If you're listening,
Sunny D. Are you kidding me? Like there's no alcohol in that. It says 4.5%, but
So those are good. Those can be dangerous, what you're saying.
dude, there's got to be so much artificial chemicals in here. I'm probably gonna die tomorrow.
Yes, he is making
so.
some weird faces. We still can't tell if he likes it or not either.
Yeah, it just tastes like Sunny D. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, Sunny D, I felt like was shitty orange juice, but we loved it as a kid because it was full of sugar. Not as good as the High Noons. What?
Better than White Claw?
Oh, yeah. Kicks White Claw in the ass. Whew. I mean, my High Noons, especially pineapple. Pineapple's my go-to, especially when I was in Vegas for the golf trip. They had 24 ounces in the gift shop at 8 a.m. Man, I mean, this is like a solid 8.3, 8.
Oh, I thought it could be in sevens. All right.
I mean, this is like I'm glad that they had to put contains alcohol on it because if you didn't know any different, it tastes like freaking Sunny D.
Lives up to the name of the brand.
Like that's like I said, I'm looking at the ingredients now. There's got to be some artificial shit in here that's gonna grow me a third nipple here next week.
Paul, what are we drinking tonight on your end?
A crisp Coke.
Crisp Coke. Nothing wrong with that. You got
Yeah,
the big one from the gas station.
Yeah, this is the crispest Coke I've had in a very long
Crispest
time.
Coke.
So, yeah, I don't know if Christmas is a word or not, but I'm going with it.
Hey, Paul, I can super appreciate a gas station or a restaurant that gets their fountain CO2 syrup
Correct.
thing right on point.
Yeah.
It's not too sweet. It's not too bitter, but yet it's got a little bit of a right in there. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I normally don't drink ice in it. And this has ice in it because we went through the drive-thru and they put ice in it. And I'm okay with it.
Wait a minute. You're a no ice guy?
I'm a no ice guy.
I don't know. I think of guys that drink. Now, do you drink a can of pop warm?
No.
Okay.
No, it's got to be
That's
cold.
just weird there.
Yeah, if you did that, and I'm thinking, man, you really are a WWE guy. Yeah?
All right, I've drank my pop hot before, but that was only because I worked at the foundry and there was nothing else to drink but what I had right beside me.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Well, I went the non-alcohol route tonight too. Didn't have much in the fridge, but I hopefully the Canadian people Appreciate that. A little Canadian dry.
Canadian dry, a little ginger ale.
Canada dry, I should say. Ginger ale, and then I got water. So, yeah, kind of boring tonight.
Now, if you ever want to get a little bit frisky, take some of your ginger ale and mix it with Maker's Mark.
Yes.
I know it sounds weird. It's actually pretty good on a hot day. And I'm not a brown liquor guy on a hot day, but
I have to try that because I have ginger ale in the fridge quite often. So
yeah, all my old golf buddies down in Florida that are like in their 70s that I go down and play with every March, they drink ginger ale and Maker's Mark.
I'll have to give that a try. Maybe next week. Next week I might have to find something Vegas related.
And
it's gonna be double or nothing week next week.
Those guys, Vegas bombs.
Oh jeez.
Let's do Vegas bombs.
Vegas bombs at 10:20 on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's going to work at 5 a.m. the next morning?
You?
Well, I don't have to go till 8:30, but
I can pass out right here and
my days
be
over
okay
by
the
then.
next day.
we're doing Vegas bombs next week. I'm buying all the stuff for it.
Hey, I can't complain about
So
that.
we're going to Chet's house is what I'm hearing.
We could do a in-house pod.
We got to do that one of these times. Let Shep get in his new house first.
Yes.
I got
We'll
to
throw a housewarming party on the podcast.
We'll do that. We'll do that for sure.
All right, now that we're almost 12 minutes into the pod, let's talk some AEW. But we won't talk Dynamite just yet because today was a big day of news for AEW. It was the Warner Discovery upfronts were today, and the anticipated announcement finally came true today. AEW is getting a new Saturday night wrestling show, AEW Collision.
Not every Saturday night, though.
Not every Saturday night. Once in a while, it'll be taped on Thursdays if it needs to be.
But I don't think it's going to be consecutive every Saturday night if you looked at the schedule, right?
Oh, it's every Saturday. There was a Thursday in there. There was a Thursday in there one week.
Thursday in that schedule code?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
For
they're gonna.
buddies up in Canada.
Yeah, they're gonna do the Canadian tour and then come back to Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it's not announced where the first Collision show is going to be. Tony's going to announce that next week. It's rumored for a long time to be United Center in Chicago, but maybe a report coming out today. Maybe they're looking for a different venue. Maybe they're just trying to keep everything under wraps. And that report was a lot of rumors about Pepsi Phil, Mr. Phil Brooks, a.k.a. CM Punk. The best report I could find was on Fightful Select, so these transcripts come from them. It's the latest
Shout
on
out to Sean Rush.
yes, of the best in the game in my opinion. The latest on CM Punk and Ace Steel. He said CM Punk is the talk of AEW's backstage yet again, involves Ace Steel. For the past couple of months, AEW and CM Punk have been working towards a return for Punk on the AEW Collision brand. This has extended all the way to Warner Brothers Discovery, AEW, and TNT having promotional materials made for the show involving Punk, including a Samoa Joe graphic. Fightful has learned that during the meeting between CM Punk and Chris Jericho, that Jericho mentioned the possibility of Ace Steel return to the company in some capacity, with the belief that people working together in harmony could alleviate some tensions and show that everyone was willing to do business. Fightful was told that there was a meeting this week between AEW and Punk. It was extended to Punk that Steel would have the ability to be with the company and work directly with Punk. However, it was made clear that Ace Steel would not be able to be at AEW television. Fightful hasn't learned specifically how Punk reacted to that outside of him not being in agreement with it. Fightful has not been told if this is tied to Punk not being featured on the Warner Brothers Discovery materials or the statement they made about him not being associated with the brand, though it was noted to them there were plans for an AEW camera crew to film materials at CM Punk's home on Wednesday, but they've not been told if that actually happened. As of now, they have not been told a change in plans for CM Punk. PW Insider reported that Impact was interested in bringing in Ace Steel in recent weeks, but he passed, leading to their belief that he was AEW or WWE bound. A lot to kind of chew on there. What are your thoughts around Collision and your thoughts about yet again a new CM Punk report?
Well, the big thing that you just talked about, and it's fresh, the Ace Steel thing. If you're going to bring him back, but yet he's not allowed on television, so
I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, what does he do? I mean, I know they have very few house shows or live events, whatever you want to call them. So he's allowed those. More than likely, Punk's not going to be on those cards. So I don't understand that. So
Yeah, I don't either, and I agree with Majin here. Man, troubles just seems to follow Punk. He knows how to keep himself in the news. That's the way to put it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm excited about the Collision show. I think it'll be fun. It's a risky time slot at night at 8:00 Saturday wrestling. Live Saturday wrestling hasn't been on TV in years. 8:00. They'll run into some difficulties probably in football season, college football season especially, but you get some heavy hitters on that brand. I think it'll do okay, and it looks like there is going to be some sort of brand split.
Yeah.
When it comes to the time slot, I think during the summer is fine.
Right.
But like you said, once we get into August or late August, early September, you start competing with college football, ESPN and Fox and all those guys. And then as you go in farther to the winter months, you start getting NBA, you start getting NHL. I mean, really through the summer, you're competing against the MLB. So, I mean, I think it'll take off good, but it'll really tell you the truth once we get into the fall months and it starts having some. Not the MLB is not a real competitor, but MLB lasts for 7 months, 6 months. You know.
Right. Well, and with this being on TNT, baseball's shown on TBS, so they won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I don't think NBA does Saturday TNT games. Not sure about NHL. Somebody could help me there. But so I think they won't get preempted too often. But still, like I said, football competition. That's why I think you got to have a guy like CM Punk on there and some heavy hitters. It does sound like the champions won't really be part of this brand split. They'll kind of appear where needed on both shows, even if needed. So that's why we saw a lot of the champions on the graphics. But we have heard names of Andrade, Miro, Thunder Rosa, a lot of people that have been out of action for a while. Will Hobbs, even though he hasn't been out of action. So some interesting names. I'm interested to see how all this shakes out. And I guess NHL does. They do Hockey Night in Canada every Saturday.
So going back to that, what's the demo age group that these guys want to hit?
18 to 49.
Okay.
Which most of I would say 18 to probably 35-ish would be my guess. Probably not going to be home on Saturday night.
That's what I'm getting at. So as long as they're okay with the DVRs, right?
Right.
That's what we're going to do. More than likely, I mean, it's a Saturday night, especially through the summer, with my extracurricular activities. Winter, maybe, I'm home on a Saturday night. Summer, I'm lake, golf, whatever. I mean, as long as they're okay with that, then I think it'll work. But like you said, you're 18 to 49. Let's just call it 18 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is different nowadays. They're going to be out doing stuff. They're not going to be sitting at home on the couch, more than likely.
Right. And an interesting thing Paul and I talked about before we started recording, before you hopped on, was they're going to have competition a lot of times with WWE Saturday night pay-per-views. And does this kiss away AEW Saturday night pay-per-views? Unless, I guess, if they want to do a Saturday night pay-per-view, they'll have to tape the Collision on a Thursday or a different night that week.
But then you'd have to show it on Thursday, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So that or you just show Collision at the 6 to 8 time slot.
As a Major puts here on YouTube, they do Rampage at a bad time. They're fine with that. So sure they don't mind. Yeah, Rampage hasn't been bringing in the ratings, and it does sound like Rampage will not be live very often, if ever, going forward. That's going to be taped after Dynamite's on Wednesday. ROH will be taped after Collision on Saturday.
Well, and it jumps week to week. Like this week, we get it at 6:30 on Friday.
Correct. Yes, because it gets preempted a bunch come NHL and NBA playoff time.
Yeah,
Fridays. So But in Rampage is going to turn into more of like the Sunday Night Heat equivalent for AEW. I think the more developmental show.
Which was fine. And Sunday Night Heat back in the day was really good. It was 1 hour.
Yep.
And they would usually use that 1 hour sometimes to lead into a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure back in the day when you had to do the old-fashioned pay-per-view where you had to call it in on the Dish Network,
Yes,
the remote, and have the 8-digit code or whatever digit code it was. I'm sure it got them a couple extra buys because back in the Attitude Era and leading into the following era, they were pretty aggressive on Sunday Night Heat.
sure.
And I think it got them some extra buys. So maybe they can use that to their advantage if they do have a Saturday night pay-per-view and have Collision come on a little early and, give you a little appetizer. That way you make sure you buy the main course. More buys.
I'll never forget one of the Sunday Night Heats. It was before either 98 or 99 Fully Loaded, the first blood match, Undertaker and Steve Austin. And right at the end of Sunday Night Heat, Austin got busted open going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that cliffhanger. And then during the pay-per-view, he got Undertaker back and busted him open before the match started. So, yeah, they did a lot of those. And they would have some big stuff. You would get a Rock promo once in a while, Sunday Night Heat, or Kane might be in the main event, somebody big like that. So, yeah. Yeah, if they can do that format, be all for it. So, I guess before we get into Dynamite, what's your guys' thought on Tony's announcement for the first Collision show next week? Is it going to be Chicago United Center, or do you think they're going Plan B?
Yes.
Yes.
It'll be Chicago.
Yeah.
I think you guys are right too. And one of my reasons is it's literally a month out. Today's May 17th. You haven't had tickets for sale yet. So you got to go to a market where you're going to sell tickets very, very fast. And Chicago United Center Punk, it's already been proven a successful formula for that.
Well, and if they decide to run the United Center,
That's the rumor.
That's not a small place.
No, it's 20,000. So.
And I know they've ran it before, but they had preparation, they had time. So, yeah, they're going to have to come out with something big and sell tickets in 4 weeks.
And it's it's not the go home show, but it's right before Forbidden Door, weekend before. So
which Forbidden Door was at the United Center last year.
It was last year. It's in Canada this year. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They're doing that big Canadian tour this year, which is gonna be awesome. A lot of good fans up there. All right, let's get into Dynamite tonight. Started off with in-ring promo from Wardlow. Didn't see this starting to show off, but I was fine with it. Calls out Christian Cage, of course. I'm liking this rivalry after tonight. Christian comes out, and long story short, he attacks Wardlow, and Luchasaurus hands him a ladder, and he runs into Wardlow head first with the ladder, props himself up on the ladder, onto the middle turnbuckle, and Luchasaurus choke slams Wardlow through it, snapping the ladder in half. Then they bring the broken ladder to the middle of the ring. Christian hits the kill switch, drops Wardlow face first into the ladder, and Christian poses with the TNT title. We later on find out in the night that Wardlow challenges Christian to a match of Double or Nothing for the TNT title ladder match.
I'm excited for this because I want to see how the big guy moves in a ladder match. We know Christian can go. I know he's older.
Well, we've seen Wardlow win the brass ring last year at Revolution in a ladder match.
Yeah, but there was other.
There were 6 guys in it.
Yeah, there was guys that got you distracted.
Yeah.
Christian coming back off of injury, obviously, and really his first match back is going to be a ladder match.
But he is a master of ladder matches.
He is a master. He knows how to do it. So, really, the last great ladder match we saw at AEW was Cody Sammy.
Yeah.
I don't see these guys doing those type of spots.
No. Majan says he kind of wants to see Christian win. He think he'd look great as Lex Luthor with the title.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me
Yeah.
with the stipulation if we do see the TNT title change hands yet again. But because you could have Wardlow lose in a ladder match and it not be a clean loss for him. Have Luchasaurus cost him.
Yeah, you
for
can have
instance.
outside interference.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
open the rules. So,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get more of a Luchasaurus versus Warlord match in that because of that.
And I feel like it's time for Warlord to deliver in this match.
Mm-hmm.
You remember a year ago, he had that match with MJF where he squashed MJF, but we had the whole MJF red eye flight drama before it. And Wardlow's never really been the same since.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see.
I'm more excited about this match now than I was going into tonight. Knew we were going to get it, but I wasn't expecting a ladder match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just a regular wrestling match because that would have been boring with Wardlow and Christian. So, of course, you have to put a stipulation, and making it a ladder match makes it that much better.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if those guys could go out and tear down the house with a traditional match.
Yeah. We think interesting tag team match, interesting team of Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Big Bill, Shep's favorite, and Lee Moriarty. I thought Lee Moriarty had a really good showing in this match, to be honest. I think he's really improving. He's getting better and better. But I really like the team of Orange Cassidy and Darby. I thought they mixed well tonight.
So what was the background here? Why did they throw those two together all of a sudden?
I don't think there was a background of it.
Kind of my point.
Yeah, TK likes to do that.
I know. So I know we got all of the pillars on the card tonight, and I felt like it was thrown together, but I really, Moriarty was good. And if you call him John Morrissey, I like the guy. He looks like $1 million. Okay? He can move. He can work. Just change his freaking name back to normal.
Look, he's Big Bill, and you can't teach that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You know what? Next thing you know, you bring Enzo in and you call him Little E or something. I don't know.
Here, Shep, I got your back for that Big Bill comment. I got your back here.
Of course you did.
Roadkill. ECW legend. Well, I don't want to call him a legend, but ECW worker.
There's your one, Paul. I had to do it at some point. He's got a little more beard than you would do, Paul. Don't worry.
He does.
Mine all connects at least.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it was an entertaining match with no story build. The guys did good. They worked well together. They're entertaining. But other than that, I thought we should get a little more.
What'd you think of Darby's headlock takeover pinfall to send a message to MJF?
Yeah, I saw that. And they announced it on commentary right away. After
Which I feel like was needed because a lot of people are like, "What? Why did he do that?" So they need to give some context.
So it was a good little message. And then after the match, we had the Renee Paquette interview with all of the guys, basically, at one point in time throughout the show. So I have a little bit of a conspiracy theory through this, though. So we saw the Darby match, and I'm going to fast forward, but it's a rabbit hole. We saw the Darby match, and then we got the Sammy match.
Yeah, he squashed whoever he went against.
Exodus Prime, isn't that
it was Exodus Prime, yeah.
Isn't that a Transformers name? I'm not big into Transformers.
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. Oh, we got Exodus Prime.
Close. Exodus could probably be his cousin.
And then we had the Jungle Boy match. Okay. Yep. So Jungle Boy and Darby are booked in fights.
Yeah.
Sammy got a squash. 15-second squash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he makes a point to say backstage, I'm not taking a dive for MJF.
Could be something there.
There'd be something there. And again, it's a far left out in right field, but
I took it more of Sammy's. Texas likes Sammy. He got a big pop tonight. Got a babyface reaction.
Not the biggest pop, but
not the biggest pop, but a big pop. He had a kind of a babyface backstage promo with Darby there, kind of saying he had respect for Darby, respect for Jungle Boy. One of those three is you got to leave without the title because Max is a prick. I know he didn't say that word for word, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So I feel like this, on top of All Access, that just ended last week, they're really trying to maybe start push Sammy in the babyface direction again, which would be about his millionth character turn. But I do want to see him break away from Jericho for once. We haven't seen it since he entered the company.
Yeah, and Jericho, let alone Daniel Garcia. As of late, Daniel Garcia is worn on me, and I'm just not a fan.
The JS is kind of worn on me. It's just kind of that time to. So Majin's saying. So what you're saying is Sammy's taking the fall.
Man,
Yes.
I can see the main event doing that. They beat the living tar out of each other for 20 minutes, and it gets to a situation, and I mean, there's a reason those other two guys were in a fight.
Yeah.
And then Sammy just had a 20-second squash, 30-second squash.
Which one of the pillars would you say is, of course, excluding Max, which one of Darby, Jack, and Sammy's least likely to take the pin?
I
Darby.
was going to go Jungle Boy.
I was going to go Darby.
I feel like they're protecting him more. But.
Majin said, how can you not like Daniel Garcia and his expert dancing skills?
As long as I'm not sitting front row and he's trying to do a dance right beside me, we're good.
The way he flexes muscles is like do it normal, right? Don't.
Well, it's so he can get balance, so he can get the pelvic thrust in there too.
It's not my fault. He's freaking 5'8" and 180 pounds.
Don't talk about Tanner like that.
I was going to say, watch it.
Tanner, 180 pounds.
I was going to say, I wish I weighed 180 pounds.
I mean, Tanner soaking wet weighs $109.
It's not the first time I've heard that, so it's all good. It's all good. Speaking of weighing, soaking wet, I think you made a comment about the Young Bucks last week and their weight. They were asked about stage about Kenny Omega, but before they could even answer, they got jumped by the Blackpool Combat Club and got the Tarby out of them. Claudio with the impressive strength, the gorilla press Nick Jackson over his head onto a car.
Yeah, and Nick, before he got pressed on the hood, the shoulder into the truck, which hit his hip on the headlight area.
Yeah, I couldn't feel that good.
That could not feel good.
No.
Because it was solid. And they had the camera right there, too. So it's kind of like, yeah, that connected. Okay.
Then we saw, I already said, kind of talked about Wardlow challenging Christian to the TNT ladder match, but we saw Arn Anderson talking to him, and Arn with one of the weakest bag of ice throws I've ever seen. I don't know if it slipped out of his hand or what. That thing was not a good throw by Double A there. But
Barely reached the wall.
I'm not going to tell him that, though. I don't want him to pull a Glock on me or give me a spine buster.
He's 7 years old. I don't know if he's 70 or not.
I think he's in his – is he I looked this up one week, but I don't remember.
He's close to 70.
He is 64.
Wow.
That's like my dad's age.
That's my dad's age.
That's pretty close to my dad's age. So
I feel like my dad. Well, of course, my dad probably hasn't had the beaten Arn side over the years.
Probably not. Probably
Right.
not. Arn had to retire like in ’98.
Arn could be my dad.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Hey, you got the facial hair like Arn.
Yeah, you know.
Then we saw Sammy, the squash match with Exodus Prime, and like I said, he cut a babyface promo in the ring afterwards. Then we got Shep's favorite. We got Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt coming out. But before they can start talking, FTR comes out and pushes Satnam off the stage through some tables. Big Boy went down hard.
Hold on. You guys are. And Taz made fun of him
Yeah, he did big time.
about Tony Schiavone calling him Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah.
And when they took the camera away from Tony and went up to the stage, Taz was making fun. Like,
Yes, he was.
That's funny he said that because we know he doesn't like him. I thought that was awesome. I felt like it's just
they're having fun on commentary.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fun banter back and forth, and obviously Tony just keeping in with the thing on. I don't like the guy, so I'm gonna make fun of him. I'm gonna make fun of his name.
So before we get more into this, that leads me to a question I meant to ask earlier. Who do you think the commentary team's gonna be for Collision?
Man.
Because if they're going to do a brand split, I think they should have different announcers on Collision than they do Dynamite. Of course, Excalibur's probably going to be still on commentary,
Jericho?
I would think. Not if he's a talent on Collision.
True. Paul White?
JR?
I don't know if they want JR on live television anymore, do they?
How about Nigel McGuinness? Can you do commentary?
You can do Nigel.
Well,
I know a lot of Twitter wants to see Tony pick up Mario. I think that's his name. The guy who used to be in NXT would get really excited.
He does boxing now.
Yeah, and I know he had some problems after wrestling. He had to go therapy and some other stuff, I think.
Well, he had some mental health issues. He didn't like working the NXT schedule.
Right.
But he's done some boxing and some mixed martial arts, and he's awesome.
But
to me, he's the Gus Johnson of combat sports. I thoroughly enjoy Gus Johnson when he's on Daddy Magic.
Daddy Magic was good on with Paul White.
As long as he makes sure he opens the show with how hard his nipples are. I think Daddy Magic is one of the most entertaining guys out there.
Right? Oh, he is. So that'll be interesting. I don't know who. I really like the Dynamite team of Taz, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone, though. So
take off the match. I said that
Man in a mask.
But back to this segment. Yeah, Satnam went down like a tree, man. He does a pretty hard fall for the big guy.
Well, he kind of obviously he knew it was coming.
Yeah,
and he turned himself, and they were there. There they are. They pushed him, so he fell on about like 7 or 8 tables.
Well, he's not going to miss a table.
Yeah. So yeah.
And you got to give it to him, whether you like the guy or not. He is the first one to go off the stage through the tables and it not look terrible.
No, it didn't look terrible at all.
And he didn't miss. His head didn't catch the edge of a table or most of his body hit the floor. He went through the table.
Damn it.
Major says, all I'll say is that segment at the end of the show got my nipples hard. It was a good segment at the end of the show. We'll get to that momentarily. Yeah. But FTR was getting the upper hand on these guys until Karen Jarrett appears and hits Cash Wheeler with a low blow, which allows Double J to hit the stroke on Dax Harwood. Saturn then returns to the ring and drops them both with double choke slams. And then double guitar shots. I cannot read tonight. To the head of FTR. So Karen Jarrett, Double J's been teasing it for a while, but I didn't think we'd see her till down the line, if at all. There she is.
I hope we get Kurt Angle in the next episode.
He wanted big time money from AEW at one point, but I did feel like I was watching TNA for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've complimented Jarrett on his look, his physique, and his work as the last 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was in a bad spot before he came to AEW. I know he had some substance abuse problems. He had a run in AAA that was really bad.
Yeah.
It's just ugly. So I like that he looks good nowadays. He works good, for a 54, 55-year-old man. I kind of like the storyline he's in right now, but I don't need to see his wife. I mean, next thing you know, FTR is coming out with Dixie Carter.
Oh no, boy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
she is a heat magnet though.
if you're gonna bring in Karen Angle, then next thing you know, FTR is bringing in Dixie Carter. Like, come on.
But I will say, I think this match between Lethal and Jarrett and FTR, it has potential to be the sleeper match of the night at Double or Nothing, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a good match.
It really is. You have Mark Briscoe as the best referee, and I know you can't keep him out of the match and out of the story, but you're going to have some involvement of Sanjay Dutt and Sat McLean.
So who's even it up for FTR? Because we're going to get some cameos or some debuts at Double or Nothing, some surprises.
I mean,
Daddy Briscoe.
Yeah, you have that because Mark's involved. I mean, I don't know. That's a really tough. I need to think about it. You can't put me on the spot, Tanner.
You can get back with me next week about that. But yeah, we go down rabbit holes. I put you on the spot. That's what I do.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
But you're right. There's going to be somebody that's going to come out and help them.
Major says, say what you want about Double J, but since he's been there, his matches haven't disappointed. No, his run's been a lot better than I thought. Well, yeah. And the IWC has embraced it. I think some of it's just kind of out of a mocking a little bit, but they've embraced it.
If you noticed last week, when they were pouring the tequila around, he refused.
Yeah.
I like that he plays that in real life. Like, I mean, he knows he had a problem, and he's obviously a lot better. I think he looks better than he has in last 5 or 8 years. You going back into TNA and his Global Force Wrestling and selling his gold bars and all that good stuff. But I think he looks good. I think right now he's working well, and Lethal's great. So. But yeah, like you said, with those guys, there's going to have to be some neutralizers coming out for FTR, and we'll have to figure those out.
Yep. We then got the women's match of the night, tag team match, Toni Storm and Ruby Soho of the Outcast versus Akira Shida and Britt Baker. It was reported today that Jamie Hayter, a legit injury, sustained last week. Yep. But we'll talk about her more momentarily. But I enjoyed this tag team match. I thought it was good. This was the one match my fiance tuned in for, and she asked me who I thought was going to win. I said, I think the Outcast, but I'm not sure on this one. I said, this is the one so far tonight. I'm not sure who's going to win. In the end, I was right. The Outcast did win, but of course not cleanly. They had to use the spray paint. They had to use the green spray paint as Shreya distracted the referee. That allowed Tony to spray Britt Baker in the face, then hit Storm 0 for the 1-2-3. I will say, though, one thing I've noticed lately, Britt's taking a lot of pins.
She has.
I don't like that for how big of a star she is.
But at the same time, you could almost say it's like she knows when to take them.
Yeah.
And it's helping put over either the storyline she's in or other talent. She's been saying she's carrying the women's division, and she's not wrong. She may not be the champion, but she definitely is doing her part in making sure that everybody's talking about the AEW women's division.
Major said he wished they kept the original idea into the trios. Then his girl Saraya would have been in it too. No, we've talked about that on the podcast. We wish we'd see Saraya in more matches. And they didn't go the direction I thought they were going to go. I thought they were going to go, and maybe they still will with some sort of tag match at the pay-per-view, but I thought we were going to see a trios match at the pay-per-view, but it looks like we're going to get Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter for the women's title at the pay-per-view, which is a rematch from Full Gear.
We'll see Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale take on the other two members of the Outcasts.
Did you guys feel like that match was sloppy?
Yes and no.
I felt like there was 2 or 3 spots that just looked bad.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The spray paint seemed off. I know Britt kind of started reacting before it ever even came out of the can because the can didn't spray right off the bat.
In the camera at the end, when she came off the mat, she had zero spray paint on her face.
Yeah, it was kind of up in her hair.
Up in her hair, like
yeah.
And I don't know if there's spray paint that they can spray on your face and eyes that get that. So
yeah,
somebody's upset.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Somebody didn't keep a spray paint spot.
Yeah, he didn't like it either. And then you had Ruby Soho talking into the camera, and they switched to the camera right after she pushed it away, so you get a bouncy camera for a second.
Yeah,
it was more the end for me. Like the match was good, the camera work was sloppy, but yeah, there were a couple spots within the match itself that weren't the best.
I thought the kicks right off the bat were weak.
Mm-hmm.
And again, maybe you got a point, Paul. Maybe it was because of the camera they used. Because you saw the full visual, where if you had the camera closer from behind, you couldn't tell. So it was a combination of both. We can agree to that. But
yeah,
I mean, right now, like I look at the women's division over the three companies.
Mm-hmm.
Impact,
mm-hmm.
AEW, and WWE.
Okay.
And I mean, you guys know where my I don't want to call it loyalty, but like where I prefer. And right now, I think AEW maybe has the weakest women's division out of the group. I think Impact's killing it right now, and WWE's not far behind their heels. Now, it hurts Impact that Mickie James got hurt, but AEW's got some real movement going on in the women's division right now. And AEW's, I think they're missing the spot right there.
And a lot of that is to what Tanner and I have been complaining about the entirety of KOP's existence, and that is, why is there only one women's match? There is so much talent you could do too. Right now, we're focusing on Dynamite about AEW versus the Outcasts. So we're not going to see any of that other talent in the women's roster unless they happen to be coming out to save somebody. But right now you've got 6 women really that we're focusing on, 8 if you count Willow and Sky Blue. That's it.
Your TBS champion's pretty much exclusively on Rampage anymore.
Yeah, that's where she's been most of her reign, though, it seems like.
Yeah, I see she has an open challenge this Friday night.
And she was the when they showed the graphic for like the main channels today at the upfronts, she was the graphic for TBS today. Which was interesting.
No.
It's big star potential.
There is.
She is. But I think we're going back. Let's go back 4 months. I was predicting they're going to take the belt off.
I know.
Just so she can elevate into the women's championship instead of the television championship. They haven't done it yet. In fact, I think it might have cost me the belt a couple times back in the day.
Yeah, I've cashed in some big points with her over the last few years.
Yeah,
last year.
And I feel like they could really promote her and do good with her, put her in the championship scene. They've just kind of kept her down. And I don't know if it's because they feel she's not ready. She was so green, and maybe behind the scenes she's working, getting more experience. And if that's the case, good for them that they recognized it. But she's due. She's ready.
Yep.
She's got the look. She's got the athleticism. She's getting better in the ring. She's getting better on the mic. Not saying she's perfect, but there's not a lot of females that you could tout it. She's got to be what, 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah, she's up there.
and she's ripped and athletic as hell.
I gotta think we're gonna get the rematch between her and Valkyrie at Double or Nothing. I would assume.
And I would think Valkyrie
Maybe that's time.
Valkyrie has the credentials to take that belt off.
Yeah.
Like that would not hurt her at all.
No.
Losing to her. So
we then after the women's match saw Renee again. She was like she is every Wednesday. A lot of Renee.
She worked her ass off tonight.
Yes, she did. She's
AEW Renee on Wednesday night.
It really is. Hey, she's skilled. So she was showing with Orange Cassidy once again. And Orange earlier said if whoever wants to come after the International Championship, go speak to Tony. Well, she claimed that 20 people spoke to Tony. So he makes 21. So he said, how about a blackjack battle royale for the title? And then he asked Renee if she wants to be in it, and she declines. So
you see my L? You know what my L stands for?
Loser. I don't know.
Lazy booking.
Yeah.
This is lazy booking.
I think it might be a way to get the title off for Orange.
These sometimes
and not make him look.
I think it's the complete opposite.
Well, they're playing into that every week it's getting more of a struggle for him, and his injuries are building up. He's getting tired. I mean, he wanted a chair tonight because he's tired.
Well, he's been beat up for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean that's no doubt. But he's working 1 day a week.
In back, I missed this comment about the TBS Championship. Majan said he thinks they're waiting for Statlander to come back.
I agree with that.
Which I saw a picture of her the other day. She's looking ripped. She's looking in fantastic shape.
Yeah, and all of her socials have gone silent, so that's always indication that she's back, or a superstar is back, really focusing on getting back in ring shape. They seem to go silent right before they return. So I'm not saying this Friday she's going to return, but I say by Collision she'll be back and hopefully be TBS champion, because that was my prediction.
In this international blackjack or the blackjack battle royale for the international championship, do you think we see Pac make a debut, or not debut, return?
Probably, and I hope we see some new names come in, and like we've all three talked about, somebody outside of America win this belt. And I
think Pat comes back. I don't know if he necessarily wins the belt.
Right, he's already had it once, but
I think Pat comes back and sets something up for Forbidden Door.
I just want to see him back. This has been a while. I mean, we haven't seen him since he lost. The Triangle lost the best of 7 to the Elite early in the year,
and it wasn't because he's hurt.
No,
taking some time off.
Yeah.
We then got my favorite match of the night. Falls Count Anywhere match between Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong. I thought this was a lot of fun. Had a lot of, it's a typical Jericho match. Had some fun. I mean, some entertaining, things to make you laugh. I like when Roderick, whatever he threw, was that ice cream? Or what was it that he threw in the face of Jericho? And then he ate some.
He called it Mr. Softy or something like that. So it had to be like some softer ice cream or something.
Yeah, I like that. They brawled around the concourse. They went on that ledge. That was kind of cool. That was a cool spot of the arena. And then I thought it was pretty creative at the end. It was Mr. Softy. I see that in the notes. Thought it was creative booking at the end. They brawled outside the stadium. So then Adam Cole turned up because they're outside the arena, started attacking Jericho, threw him into some mud, beat him down, and then he hit the boom. And Roderick followed it with the jumping knee. And Roderick Strong, huge win in his singles debut in AEW. I loved it.
Still throws me off when his Titantron video hits because it's SRS.
I like that theme, though. That's one of my favorite themes.
Good,
I like that song. That's a good one. That's back to his ROH theme.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they made a comment. We had 2 former ROH champions going at it. I love that. I thought it put him over really well. And with Jericho, before they got outside the ring, the stuff they did in the ring, like those chops, man, they just beat the tar out of each other.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that Jericho's all about that.
He puts guys over.
He does. He gets it so much.
Yep.
And yeah. So then when they got into the concourse area and the concession area and the gimmick area and went on out, it worked out well.
It was the entertainment, the sports entertainment side came out.
Yes. It was very, very well together.
I am I know he's probably still a little ways away. I'm excited for the eventual return of Kyle O'Reilly. And even though I think Adam Cole, he doesn't have to be in the trios because he's a huge single star. But if they wanted to go after the trios, that'd be a fun group to do so too.
And he had neck fusion surgery.
Yeah,
Neck,
he could. He could be out quite a while. But
yeah, I mean, when you get your neck fused, it's just
pretty big deal.
Pretty big.
We then got Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Roosh, and anytime we get Roosh, it's gonna be a hard hitting match. I mean, him and Danielson earlier this year. What was that late last year? I think it was earlier this year. Yeah, it was before the Revolution match with MJF. That was brutal. We saw Jack Perry get busted open, which when Jack gets busted open, it kind of gives him another gear. I thought this was a really good match too. And it was tough to follow that Falls Count Anywhere match, I thought. And I thought they did a good job following it.
It was. I thought Roosh just beat the living tar out of Jungle Boy tonight. Like, the first, 2-3 minutes of the match, the way he worked him around the outside of the ring, throwing him in the barricades, man. Yeah. I thought it was aggressive.
I mean, I think we all knew that Jack wasn't going to lose heading into next week's Double or Nothing, but...
No, but I like how he did win. Kind of that desperation move.
Yeah, use the tights.
Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting. You don't see that on a babyface too often, but like you said, he was desperate.
That's a desperation move for anyone. So especially when a babyface pulls it off.
Then after the match, Roos was pissed, so he attacks Jack, and so did Preston Vance. Then Darby hit the ring, but he got beaten down as well. Then Sammy hit the ring to even the odds, and he cleaned house. Crowd erupted, and then all three of the pillars kind of looked at each other. And then MJF was shown backstage, wasn't happy about it. Renee came up to interview him, and he smacks the microphone out of Renee's hand, storms away.
Yeah, and that was like the first time I can think of just Renee's reaction was genuinely genuine. Just really?
Yep. We then got the main event for the night, which came on at 9:35. So I'm like, they're not gonna give these guys 25 minutes because Callis still has to speak too. Which right then I'm like, this is gonna be interesting. That Callis is ending the show, so something big's gonna happen. But a few that's been ongoing for the last month since Jay White debuted in AEW. Jay White versus Ricky Starks. I thought this was a really good match as well. I did not like the ending though.
No.
Juice Robinson was down the ringside to accompany Jay White the whole time. A good back and forth match though. Two guys that, I mean, Jay White's one of the bigger signees AEW's had in their company history, really. And then Ricky Starks is a guy that seems like they're ready to hot shot him, but every time they kind of loosen the reins and pull him back a little bit. But he did have that big win over Jericho at Revolution. Back and forth towards the end. Ricky almost caught Jay White with a roll-up when reversing the Blade Runner, but he did manage to hit a spear. The crowd's red hot because once again they're in Texas. That's Ricky's second home away from New Orleans. Jay White then raked the eyes, which led to Juice Robinson aiming to hit him with a chair, but Starks took it off of him and attacked Juice Robinson. However, right away, Paul Turner turned around and was trying to get him to stop, but then he attacked Jay White with the chair, resulting in a rare DQ finish. We don't see AEW do those very often. So Jay White wins by DQ, which tells me we're getting a rematch for Double or Nothing. And I hope they really let the guys go, give them a clean match and let them go for 20 minutes.
Yeah. There for a second, though, when Ricky looked at the chair before Turner turned around, I went, are we going to pull an Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah.
Are we going to smack the chair against the ground and throw it to Juice and lay down? But, yeah, interesting end to it.
What do you think about this matchup?
When it was going on, I'm like, why are we seeing this match 2 Wednesdays before a big pay-per-view? Because, I mean, Jay White coming in, IWGP champion, like fresh off the championship belt. And nothing against Ricky. Okay. I enjoy Ricky, but he's not at the top right now. We're not pushing him at the top level. So it's kind of a mid-card thing. Like, you can't have him lose to Ricky on a Wednesday night Dynamite to a mid-card guy. So I felt the match was good. The finish was even better because
I didn't like the finish, but I understand why they did it. But
it didn't hurt either.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So yeah, you had Juice on the outside, kind of get involved, but the way they finished this match didn't hurt either individual. And like you said, it probably set up a match for 2 weeks in Double or Nothing. So in Vegas. So yeah. I think those guys could those two guys, depending on where they put on the card, they could steal that show.
I'd open it with them.
Yeah, they really could steal that show. Give them 25 minutes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Give them 30 minutes, and those guys could. They could. I don't know what kind of crowd we're going to get. And is it at the T-Mobile Arena?
T-Mobile, where the Golden Knights play, but they're not. So far, last year they opened up for like 14,000. So far, it looks like they're only opening up for 9.
Okay.
Because they've only sold 6 something so far. It's been slow.
Yeah.
But maybe tonight with more matches added, and really, even though I like the 4 Pillars storyline a bunch, this year you got the 4 Pillars main event. Last year you had Punk and Hangman. A little different.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of the problem is, here we are 12 days out, whatever. And we had, until tonight, we had 2 or 3 matches announced, and that was it. Why do you want to go buy tickets for that?
Right. Yep. And we know we're going to get a trios match between House of Black and the Acclaimed Daddy Ass, but I don't think it's been officially added to the card yet.
No. But, in fact, there's a trios match for Rampage, and it's Acclaimed Daddy Ass versus.
Is that the varsity athletes or whatever?
Varsity athletes, yeah, the ROH guys.
Yep. So, next week we get ROH tag titles on Dynamite, which is interesting because I thought we were trying to get away from ROH stuff on Dynamite, but.
Unless I think there's still something bigger, Max officially launches in 6 days.
They did say that All Access is going on Max, so the season that just ended will be on Max, but that was the only AEW related thing added there. But still, we're almost in June. We're getting towards there, and we still have, I know All ends in August, but still no word where you can watch that or how you can watch that. So. Something to keep an eye on there.
Yep.
Then we see Don Callis come out. No music, but he's getting booed out of the building. He's got security all the way up the ramp. He says everyone wants to hear him talk about why he did what he did, but instead he will talk about what Kenny Omega did to him. As there's only one victim in this, and it is Don Callis. Callis claims the IWGP title was because of him. Jericho Omega in the Dome was because of him. Kenny win the AEW World Titles because of him on his first night there. Without him, there is no Omega. This leads to Kenny coming out, crowd erupting. Kenny starts dropping members of the security, but then the Blackpool Combat Club appear, all 4 of them, and outnumber him. Moxley says the war is already over, and this is his final warning because they are the elite. Then the Young Bucks appear. They're limping out. They come out with a trash can full of weapons. And they're standing there, and the announcer's like, they're still outnumbered. It's 4 against 3. And then we get a returning huge pop of the night. Hangman Adam Page, who always gets a huge pop. He comes out looking like a badass with the eye patch. They run down the ramp, start brawling with the BCC, sending them up the ramp as Elite stand tall. Hangman then gets on the mic, says, they're the heart and the soul of this place. They're the Elite. He says, a Double or Nothing is the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club. Anarchy in the arena. Love it.
And hey, big shout out to Kenny Omega tonight for pulling the Captain America with having the trash can strapped to his arm.
Yep. Yeah, Wheeler took some trash can lid shots tonight.
Just a few. You'd have got beat up.
Huge pop for Hangman. Like, loved it. And you kind of, I mean, we all kind of saw it coming. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Him coming out tonight saying that, and then all of a sudden get on the mic saying the Elite. I loved it.
Yep. It took me back to 2019 Dynamite, like the Elite in one of the, if not the main story in the company.
It actually took me back a little bit farther, back in the ROH days, when they had a young Hangman join the Bullet Club, and Cody was involved, which we haven't had our Cody segment, by the way. But anyway,
Yep, it's coming. It's coming.
But Cody was kind of hit or miss sometimes in ROH, and you had the Bucks, Hangman, and Omega. So I loved it. I think they well played this. I already have my prediction set in stone. I'm not going to tell you guys this because you guys aren't going to get the belt. But yeah,
I'm making a prediction that Shep's prediction is the Elite, and he's putting the maximum number of points possible on it.
Well, I mean, that's what you think, Paul. Huh? I'm going with the Bullet Club in this match. That's not big of a curveball I'm throwing you.
But I thought it was a really good segment in the show. Sent the crowd home happy. Kind of hit all the AEW original fans right in the feels. And I kind of thought it was maybe not like a direct, but a subtle shot to CM Punk a little bit there. We're the heart and soul of this place.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got Hangman has his history of Punk. The managers of Target in the ring there, they have their history with Punk. So, yeah, if they can throw a little jab in there, they will.
And Kenny got bit, for God's sake, by Ace Steel.
And
did he get his rabies shots?
Well, I hope so.
Well, and you know what? Punk's got to be okay with it because he's been getting paid this whole time.
Yeah. Yep.
We're going on what?
Close to 9 months.
I was going to say 8 months, but yeah, we're going on 9 months. He's been sitting at home playing with Charles, or what the hell's his dog name?
Larry,
Charles, Larry, Bob. You know.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I wouldn't say having a cocktail, but he's straight edge.
He is.
Having a Pepsi.
Been watching a lot of hockey. He comments on everything on his Instagram stories.
Yeah, well,
which he told everybody to go touch grass today. So
he did. Well, I bet you all of his hockey comments doesn't talk about Marty McSorley.
No Marty McSorley comments. Yeah, I bet he's heard of him though. You should ask him. You should tweet CM Punk and ask him his opinion.
Hey Punk, you know who Marty McSorley is?
I guarantee he does.
Come at me, bro.
Guarantee he does. So, but getting close, double or nothing. You know, it's always interesting, like the discussion, what's AEW's biggest pay-per-view. You can definitely make an argument it's double or nothing. You can make an argument it's all out. Of course, the All In Wembley show this year is kind of like their WrestleMania, but that's a whole different discussion. But getting fired up to make our predictions next Wednesday night, which we'll do after our Dynamite review. But what are you guys giving this episode of Dynamite as a rating? Shep, we'll start with you.
Right,
you want me to go first?
Yeah.
If you throw a couple matches out, I'm not going to tell you which ones. I don't want to be bashed here, but I thought it was a really good episode, except for a couple matches. I'm going 7.8.
Oh, 7.8?
Yeah. I really thought it extended us going into Double or Nothing. I felt like we had a ton of matches added. It was very entertaining. There was just a couple things that just turned me off that got me out of the eights.
Paul?
I'm going 8-2. I really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the end segment, quoting our fan here, it made my nipples hard. But no, it was a solid show. There were some things that I don't agree with or think could have been done differently, but overall, I enjoyed it. It really is propelling us towards Double or Nothing. Some of the matches I wish we already had signed, but you know,
I'm going to go right below you. I'm going 8-1. And I was in the 7s until the final segment. The final segment bumped it up to the 8s for me.
Shep's the low man on the totem pole.
Usual. I think last week I was high 8s last week. I think I was 8-8 last week. So, still a really good show this week, though.
Yes.
All right, so Wrestler of the Night.
Who you want to go first?
I'm going to throw you guys such a curveball on this one. It's not going to be fun.
I'll take this one first, just because I said so. And I don't want anybody stealing my pick.
Ooh.
I'm taking Roderick Strong. Win in his AEW singles debut and beat a talent like Chris Jericho. Can't go wrong with that. Roddy Strong.
Go for it, Paul.
All right. I'm gonna go the entirety of the Elite, just because it is nice to have the Elite back in the, if not the main, close to the main storyline running in the company. And of course, I've been fans of the Elite since before AEW. So,
And they all took a beating tonight, too. Except
They
Hangman.
did.
Except Hangman.
Except Hangman, yeah, his eye patch slid up a little.
Yeah, I
bit
was gonna say,
further
but
than
he's
it should
the
have,
only one
but,
eye going right now. So
Yeah, to hit a buckshot, one eye, that's pretty impressive.
You guys ready for the laugh?
Mm-hmm.
I think your wrestler of the night was Renee Paquette. She worked her ass off. She was everywhere.
I wonder if Marvez hates that. Marvez gets like one interview now, and she takes
I
all the
know.
rest.
It used to be all Marvez all the time, and then they brought in somebody else before Renee, and they started getting stuff, and then they brought in Renee, and Renee gets it all.
She's pretty good though. And now, like Shep and I were talking last week, I think her Oral Sessions podcast has come to an end because she couldn't come to a renewal agreement with the production company. So
Yeah, but she was with one of those. Was she with Sports One or something like that?
it was a big one. Yeah, it was a big company. I actually probably could tell you real quick. Let's see.
And Renee's always entertaining, not only on the mic, but if you follow any of her social media stuff, it's hilarious. Like the fact that her and John took their male cat to be neutered, and it came back spayed because they had a female cat instead.
Well, it was presented by FanDuel, but it shows usually where it shows a podcast network, it shows her name on Apple Podcasts. So, not sure what company it was actually produced by. It's got a V up in the right hand corner. I don't recognize that logo. Yeah. So, yeah, no, good show tonight. But we're not done with the podcast yet. We got the new weekly segment to pipe in here. Shep came up with the idea last week. We're all Cody Rhodes fans, even though we don't talk a lot of WWE because it's not really our cup of tea, but we like our guy Cody still over there. So this segment's going to be called What Do You Want to Talk About? Because that's how Cody starts a lot of his promos. And he had a good promo this week, referencing his opponent next Saturday, Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, the Beast, Brock Lesnar. What'd you think of the promo?
Shep, go right ahead.
No, I thought it was good. I'm really entertained with Cody on WWE because he has the music, the crowd.
Yeah, the music and the crowd hits so differently than AEW.
It does. And then all of a sudden, the first thing out of his mouth is, "What do you want to talk about?" And the crowd reacts. He's got them out of the palm of their hands.
He fits perfectly for what the company's doing.
So yeah, good for him. let's just say 60 days have been awesome. They've been real. Well, they make you feel they're real.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about his dad.
Right.
He talks about his family, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I mean, like, I'm 100% in on Cody right now. So,
Yep.
The only thing going into Saudi Arabia is I thought those two guys had a great match at Backlash. And we talked about it. But the finish of Backlash was they beat the tar out of each other and then he rolled him up. We got to get some type of that type of finish.
You don't think Brock squashes him? And then we get a third match, say at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam?
Hey, if Brock squashes him, we're ending the segment.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No.
Shortest lived segment in KOP history.
Yeah, we cannot. If we have a Brock squash, I'm out.
But could you see Brock losing 2 in a row? When's the last time Brock's lost 2 in a row? It would not shock me if Brock, okay, even if it's not a squash, it would not shock me if Brock goes ahead in this one. Then you got one more match down the line somewhere.
SummerSlam's in what, August?
Yeah, but you do have Money in the Bank over in England. But a lot of people think that's where Cody might win Money in the Bank. And that's how he gets back into the Roman picture. Even though I still think they're waiting for Philly, I don't think they're going to do it at SummerSlam. That's just my personal opinion.
So you got if you do Brock goes over in Saudi Arabia, Cody wins Money in the Bank. All of a sudden, you got Cody with Money in the Bank, and he's 1-1.
You could do, unless you do the payoff of Money in the Bank, you don't have Cody in the Money in the Bank match. But say you have him in the Money in the Bank, he wins that. Maybe Brock challenged him for the Money in the Bank briefcase at SummerSlam or something. I don't know. That's a stretch, probably.
Well, you're not going to get Brock in Money in the Bank.
Have before. It is in England.
Yeah.
It's at the O2.
When's the last time Brock was in the ladder match?
He won the Money in the Bank a couple years ago because he was the surprise. Like, they didn't even let the talent in the match know. They knew that whoever was surprised was going to win it. But it was a surprise to everybody in the match.
Yeah, because he carried it around like a boombox.
Yeah, and he wore that hoodie, and he was
boombox hoodie. Brock Lesnar.
I think it was when wasn't Rollins the champion at the time.
I think so.
Was that before COVID?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't watch it.
That was before the tribal chief. That was Heyman was still with Lesnar.
Yeah. Didn't watch that one.
but no, I thought it was a good segment on the mic. And I thought Brock was good last week, like we said on the mic.
Well, I think Brock has been perfect in this feud so far with getting color at Backlash, letting Cody literally whack him on the Raw before, bust his nose open.
For a guy who gets paid a shit ton of money, like Brock Lesnar, he gives back to the business. I mean, he's a good worker. He's a hell of a seller. He makes people look like $1 million in the ring. His matches don't last too long, but he's pretty good talent.
He doesn't work by the hour.
His matches are entertaining, in my point of view.
Yes. Getting Paul Heyman away from him and letting him talk of this hillbilly
cowboy
guy with the cowboy hat and the ponytail, I get behind him and I enjoy him. I'm entertained by him. So, yeah, this work with Cody's been great. Now, what we see after that, we'll see. But like you said, it's been a big deal if Brock goes 0-2 for somebody here, within 60 days.
Because I think the only guys he's lost a non-title singles match since he returned back in 2012 is John Cena, Triple H, and Cody. Oh, and Goldberg. And Goldberg. Forgot about that.
Goldberg, that didn't count.
Who?
The John Cena one was like an Extreme Rules.
That was his first match back. That was
Match
stupid.
back, yeah. So
And then the Triple H one was he got the best of Hunter the whole time. Then they had Hunter win at WrestleMania, which was weird. But
Yeah.
it's Hunter. So, yeah. Any other any rabbit holes we want to go down tonight? I don't feel like we really went that one.
I wasn't here last Wednesday to mention this, so I'm going to mention this.
Right.
Last Monday on Raw, was it just me or did the mic never get turned on all the way for Lesnar?
Like pumped in crowd noise.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was talking and you barely hear him. And it wasn't because the crowd was so loud. Like, they're trying to pay attention to what's going on. They're pretty quiet, and you couldn't hear him for most of that promo.
Maybe he had a broken mic.
Yeah, he probably broke it.
But Paul, here's one. And Shep and I, we talked about this last week, but since you couldn't join us, I want your answers now. What's on your bucket list as a pro wrestling fan? As far as, I mean, it could be anything from going to certain shows, going to certain venues, meeting certain talents, any promotions. We just kind of went, we freeballed it last week, just kind of talked about ours. So now I'm just interested in yours.
Freeballed it. You hear that? We
Yeah.
Just came right to the mind. I don't know. It's late on a Wednesday night.
Rabbit holes. We're not doing those type of rabbit holes this week.
Yeah, we had an E on the rating with no F-bombs last week. So
no, Shep.
Is that a good thing, Tanner?
It's explicit, my friend.
Oh,
I marked it just to be safe because I didn't know. Talking about what we talked about with the Kardashians, I didn't know how it'd be rated. So just to be safe.
No, Shep. All right, bucket list, man. Well, one of them won't happen. I was hoping to eventually meet superstar Billy Graham. I missed my chance at Squared Circle Expo, and now that won't ever happen again. Thoughts out to his family on that, by the way.
Yeah, passed away at the age of 79 tonight. And guy who was a trailblazer for many, many pro wrestling careers, Ric Flair included.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to hold the original $1 Million belt. I had the replica at one point, but it was poorly put together and everything fell apart on that thing within like 3 months of me buying it, and it never moved. I just picked it up and all the latches all broke on it and diamonds fell out of it. But I'd like to meet Flair before he goes.
I want to party with Flair.
Yeah. You meet him, maybe you get invited to a party if you don't bum rush him. Man, like to hang out with Cody.
Any events you'd like to go to? Like,
I'd like to go to a Mania.
Yeah, that was on both of our lists.
I'd like to go to All In, All Out, whatever we decide to call it going forward.
Yeah, I think I said I'd like to go to any AEW pay-per-view. I don't really care which one.
Yeah. I'd like to go to the Dome. I'd like to go watch some wrestling in the Tokyo Dome.
Tokyo Dome. That was Shep's number one.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble would be good.
I don't know if I can make it on the plane ride, man.
Yeah.
It's a long plane ride, but once I got there, I think I would love that place. I think I would love Tokyo.
It's a cool place.
I'm a bigger dude, so I love food. I love Japanese food. I love Chinese food. So, like, I feel like I would fit in that place, and I'd be like just the absolute what do you call it? The modern day tourist. I mean, I couldn't like.
Just remember, Shep.
Like, what they're talking about, like I take one of those. I eat that. Yeah. How much money? Whatever.
Just remember, when you go there, it's just called food there. They don't call it Japanese food in Japan. Yeah, it's just food.
It's food.
You would have to go to the Ribera Steakhouse.
Yes, absolutely.
You'd have to. And for PT, you have to go Fridays.
I would have to go there. But if you look at their food, they have a thin sliced steak, buttered corn, and is it a roll?
Yeah, I think a roll.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like everybody just like I'm like, man, like
I know.
I love my steakhouses in America. Man, we have some badass steakhouses, and you go over there and you know everybody loves it. And I'm like, man, that looks like you should put that on a steak sandwich.
I think it's just more the experience, the jackets,
Yeah, yeah.
the history.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
Well, I love buttered corn, so we could deal with the steak, whatever. But yeah,
And one final one would be to party with the original BTE members before AEW, before the Me Too movement.
You want to party with Marty.
Not just Marty. I want to party with Fat Ass Masa.
Well, that could still happen.
well,
And
Fast still makes posts that I follow him on social media.
Me too.
yeah,
He still makes posts about those guys. He just doesn't come to America much anymore.
No.
exactly. But go to one of Marty's New Year's parties that nobody ever showed up for till the very end.
I mean, I would love to have a breakfast at a Cracker Barrel with Fat Ass Masa and the Elite would be pretty good.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Even though Cracker Barrel doesn't serve me a Bloody Mary, I could make an exception.
You'd get to sit in a chair and get your picture taken with
I
the
did.
Elite.
I did it 2 years ago. I sat in a chair and I mentioned something about the Elite, and Cracker Barrel responded to me on Instagram. I thought that was kind of cool. So
Well,
I may
They
have to go
acknowledged
do that.
it.
There's one just down the road from a radio station that I work at, so I may have to go do that. I'm not even going to eat. It's good food, but just go sit down, get my picture taken.
it wasn't Cracker Barrel the original sponsor of All In.
they had that Cracker Barrel match at I think All Out, the first one.
Yes.
And that was the one where Darby did a coffin drop with the barrel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Through the barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the first time we got to see how crazy Darby truly was.
Now the big sponsor is DraftKings.
Yeah.
DraftKings probably has a little bit more money than Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Even though we all love the hash brown casserole,
Mm-hmm.
DraftKings has a little more money than
Just a little. Just a little.
Hey, if Cracker Barrel wants to get back into the sponsoring of wrestling stuff, KOP is always looking for sponsors. Cracker Barrel.
Amen to that.
Tag them.
Amen to that.
Hello. I mean, we don't have a Cracker Barrel around us.
Kokomo?
Wait,
We think.
Kokomo.
Yeah. I got one around me. What are you talking about?
I mean, Kettle One. Let's tag Kettle One and everything.
There we go.
Kettle One and Cracker Barrel and everything going forward.
Kettle One, Sunny D,
So
Canada Dry, whatever we could take.
So Tanner and Paul, when did you guys start? I think I subbed for Paul.
Yeah.
It was a year ago.
Yeah, it was over a year ago now. I think it was last March because I remember I went to Florida last February. Paul had to do one by himself. And you text me and said, "Hey, if you guys ever need a fill-in, I'd be up to try to fill in." And
So let's go for a year.
yeah,
I've done a podcast for a year. Okay. There's not been one podcast that I have filled in that I have not drank Kettle One. Okay. Now I've had some substitute. Okay. I've had some tequila. I've had some bourbons. We had some Sunny D's, but whatever. Every time after I get out of that original drink, we have one of these backups. So Kettle One, I mean, we'll get some professional wrestling fans drinking Kettle One.
yeah.
But Ric Flair drinks Kettle One. Okay?
Very true.
He's very outspoken about that. Kettle One, come on. Give me some merch. Give me some. I'll wear a hat. I'll wear a t-shirt. Come on.
I'm going to have to clip this and send it to him.
Yeah. Tag him. Let's go.
Clip the Cracker Barrel, clip the Kettle One. Boom.
I've been drinking Kettle One at least since 2013, I think. So.
And, I mean, if Kettle One does want to sponsor KOP, we'll all drink a little bit of Kettle One during the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Shep always will, but Tanner and I will join in.
Absolutely.
I got the big bottle, but
Yeah.
Which that'll get me through maybe another night or two. But we got golf league tomorrow, so I got to pour me a couple toddies for that. But yeah, no.
Any other rabbit holes or pro wrestling topics you guys want to discuss before we wrap this bad boy up?
I got one.
Go for it.
What do you
You ready?
what do you feel about as of late? I feel like he has been getting more and more media, social media, but Matt Cardona, and since his wife went back to WWE, Chelsea Green, so he brought in that Steph D. Lander.
She's a beast.
She made a comment today or yesterday. She has made more money in the last 12 months than she made in a whole year in WWE.
If I'm Cardona, I do this for the rest of my career as long as I can. I don't get with an organization. Maybe at the very end he gets one last cup of tea in WWE because I know he really wants to deep down. But that guy's making money. He's PWI's top 20 wrestler of the year last year. I think he was number 13. He's winning gold in some promotions. He's putting on great matches, death matches, regular matches, selling merch, good podcast, YouTube channel. He's bigger than he ever has been. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did good in WWE. He had a good run. He got a start with them, but becoming Matt Cardona has just launched his career to the moon. And if he were to join any organization right now, I don't care who the organization is. If he was to join a big name organization, it's all going to come to a halt quick.
Yeah, he's got that gimmick right now, the Indie God, where he's Indiana Jones. And I think it's awesome. And then when he goes back to GCW, he's the Deathmatch King. But I was strolling through Twitter, maybe Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and I saw that once Chelsea left, he brought Steph D. Lander in, and she made that comment I think yesterday or today that all of a sudden she's I'm not saying riding his coattails, but she's in his gimmick and it's working out well for her. So
it's just the landscape of pro wrestling right now. You don't have to be with WWE or even AEW to make a good living. You can be on the independents and make a good living. And really, I think it goes back to the Young Bucks and a lot of the elite, but especially the Young Bucks. They paved the way for a lot of these guys to make a lot of money, especially in the merch sale game.
That they did.
And Cole Cabana, too, with Pro Wrestling Tees. I mean,
we don't talk about him. Oh, wait.
His mom's on his checking account.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, hey, teach their own.
And teach
But it's Cardona, he's fascinating and he's getting better as a talent. Not that he was ever bad, but his matches are entertaining and that's a good topic. Glad you brought that one up. And one more I want to talk about. I saw John Cena was on Busted Open this week. Did a really good interview, and it made some interesting comments, I thought. Talked about the Rock feud and how he was immature at the time and went about it wrong. Their first one, their lead up to Miami, and then he got to change it going up to New York the next year and kind of make up for it. But he pretty much said he wishes he could still wrestle every day, but his body can't do it. I thought that was an interesting comment because he's carving out a pretty good career for himself in Hollywood right now.
Well, and he's in his early 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
said what we got at WrestleMania 39 against Austin Theory was as best as he think he can do.
And I saw something that kind of ties into that on Facebook today. It was a little reel or whatever Facebook's calling their little short videos now. And it said, this is how kids today will see John Cena. And it was the way he stood up after that match, how he kind of stumbled around. And then it said, this is how I saw John Cena. And it was everything from the doctor of thugonomics till he stopped wrestling every day. No thugonomics included. It was all post that, but it's a very true thing that I went, man.
I mean,
I'm old.
I think we can all agree. Would you say Cena's in your guys' top 10 of all time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
How about top 5?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He's number 5.
He's
Okay.
he's borderline for me.
Okay, so and I think we've done this before, but okay, you say he's 5, Paul. Who's your top 4?
Of all time?
Yeah.
All right. Flair, Dusty. Yeah. All right. Nothing will ever beat the Hard Times promo. Wrestling fans know the non-hard time or the Hard Times promo. Man. I don't know who the other two would be.
So he might be in your top 5 then.
Well, he's number 5.
Oh, I meant top 3, I guess.
No. It's just hard to narrow down just
It
two
is.
more to put
Especially
in
on
that
the
spot.
spot.
I mean, you want to throw Kenny Omega in there and Chris Jericho.
John
you
called
go.
Roman the best ever on Busted Open. Just what he's done as a tribal chief. He said he can get other talent over where John could never do that to the level Roman does. He said everybody Roman touches comes out a bigger star.
I've just never really liked Roman. Sorry.
You think that's the company man coming out? And
I thought a little bit. I mean, I think you can make a case that Roman's top 10. I think you can, but
Okay.
he wouldn't be my top 5. But I think what he's done the last few years, I think you can put him in the top 10. But everybody's got a different criteria of their wrestlers too. Like Dusty, he didn't have the championships really, but he had other things that Paul puts him in the top 5.
I mean, I can rattle off my top 5 real quick. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Dax Harwood, Dax Harwood, Dax Harwood, Dax Harwood. There you go. There's my top 5. Next.
So, I mean, it's, I know some people, their top 5 is who was the top 5 moneymakers of all time. Some taking championships, even though it's all predetermined.
I tell you what, we're winding down.
Yes.
Okay? So let me think. I got 1 week.
Yes, you do.
I will come up with my top 5. And maybe Dax is in there, maybe not. But I will go. I mean, I started watching professional wrestling in the late 80s. Okay. That's how old I am. Don't laugh at me, you jackalopes. And here we are in 2023. So I will literally, and I think Tanner and I had this conversation when I subbed for Paul once about my Mount Rushmore of wrestling. And it could change. I think my 4th guy could change. So next week, I will tell you, because we're going to end it with a rabbit hole, because that's what we do. I will tell you my top 5 from when I started watching wrestling in 1980. I'll go 88 till 2023.
I like it.
88 was the wind down days of the territories, because Vince and Titan Media were just buying up all the television spots across them. But I like from let's say late 80s till now. I mean, I got probably 2 or 3 guys for sure, but let me work on this, and I'll fill you in the other 2.
Yeah, I feel like it's a discussion, always a great discussion amongst pro wrestling fans, and like my Mount Rushmore changes almost every year. So my top 5 list, I'll work on 1 too for next week. So I'm not sure.
I'll solidify mine for sure.
Solidify. All
Well,
right.
you can't change it. You already said it tonight. Well,
I said, sure, let's throw in Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho for the other two.
and I remember my 5th guy back when Tanner asked me this question was Kenny Omega.
It was.
Yeah.
And I know that outside of AEW fans, that will get a lot of stuff.
And another rabbit hole for a different week in the future. We'll have to do our top 5 current talents that we think are the best in the world. That'd be an interesting one too.
All right.
But we'll save that for a different show because we'll have enough.
Can't say
we'll have
best
enough
in the world. That's that one guy's thing.
Hey, we'll probably be talking about him next week. Let's be honest. I haven't seen a wrestler in the news as much as CM Punk. Ever.
Yeah.
The guy knows how to make money, guys.
He knows how to make money.
The guy knows how to make money. And speaking of that, the other guy that knows how to make money, MJF, starting, I think, next week, I should have some Caleb pickles delivered to me.
I was gonna say I was gonna ask if you'd gotten those yet.
Yeah, no, it was it was supposed to be May 15th to June 14th. I don't know, but I got an email that says, "Hey, we're getting ready to ship these out. You should have them here." So we're gonna have, as much as I love to drink booze, guys. I love to drink booze. We're going to set the booze aside one night, for a little bit.
Pickle time.
And we're going to have the freaking Kalen pickles. So
what you're saying is you're going to have your pickles before Tanner gets his hat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't get me started.
Dude, those pickles could technically show up tomorrow, but yes, I have not. They said they would send me a tracking number when they ship.
My has been in production since April 7th. I've contacted the company. I have no idea. I'm getting a little frustrated.
But yeah, we're gonna have a pickle review before we have a Tanner hat review.
Bastards.
Yeah. I might have to stop by your house, Shep, and grab one of those pickles.
I think with the MGF bundle I bought, I think I get 3 flavors. I think I get the actual pickle, the dills that he ate during the press conference. I think there was honey mustard pickles, which to me sounds really weird. And then there's another flavor. But
is there like a spicy flavor or something?
Yeah, maybe a spicy sriracha or something like that.
Ooh. I'll eat the dill. You can try the other two.
The dill pickle. I want to eat the dill pickle and then start calling you guys dumb MFers.
I got one more thing that I know Paul's about to wrap this up, but it's just another tease of Paul for a little closer. That's the best beard picture of Paul I could find.
Paul, hey, go back to normal screen. Paul, how was it working for Paul Heyman? Was he good?
Fantastic. He's a great guy.
He was that awesome. And then
did your check bounce?
Yeah.
No.
Did your check bounce? And then how about working for TNT and Cyrus?
I'm done, Paul. I promise. That's the last roadkill for a while out of me. So,
wait, Hammerstein Ballroom, was that place magical or what?
Absolutely magical.
That was on my bucket list.
Oh man!
Go ahead and throw that comment up there, Tanner.
Tanner pulled that one out of nowhere, by the way.
Yeah, of all the pictures, man, you went and got ripped. Good Lord.
Oh, it's all in good fun. You can take it like a champ. Take it like a champ.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's what happens when you spend your whole life getting picked on.
Hey, this. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but you guys obviously make some homemade butter and bread. That's really good.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what it's called. Where you get to go outside the lifestyle. I didn't go back. Just somebody could, shoot us a comment and let us know what it's actually called, because I forget what it's called when the Amish get to go out and venture into the non-Amish community. I didn't go back.
Obviously, it's called roadkill.
I became roadkill.
Yeah, you became roadkill.
But hey,
I'm probably gonna get last in the predictions now because of all this.
Yeah. But look at it this way. I look good for my age.
True.
It's true. I mean,
if we're saying I'm roadkill, I look damn good for my age.
That's true.
If you think about it, back in the day, how does Paulie decide to take an Amish-looking character and call him Roadkill because they don't drive cars?
That's
Like,
Paulie,
That's
man.
another rabbit hole we will not go down here because, yeah.
I mean, seriously, like okay, if you're gonna have an Amish character, we know Amish take horse and buggies. So how can you call a guy with a horse and buggy Roadkill? And you know what? We might get canceled because of my comments, but I'm just saying. I mean, Amish guys don't have internet and laptops.
I don't think they're listening to the podcast. I don't think you have to worry about it. I haven't seen any Amish towns on the analytic demographics, so I think we're all right.
Have we made it to Dutch yet?
Oh man,
The Dutch do not like us.
this is right. I mean, Martin Schuley, best hockey player ever.
Oh God. I think that's a good wrapping up point for the week.
Yeah. I'm waiting. You know, Shep, he says he won't bring up Roadkill anymore. You wait. I bet you by the end of May, it will not say Paul Zartman on the screen. It will say Roadkill.
Man, and you're right, Paul. If I had control over that, I would change that heartbeat.
That's an overlay too. That's not
Yeah.
a changeable one.
No. If he changes that to Roadkill, I'm stuck being Roadkill the entire episode.
All right. How about
then,
if you get last at Double or Nothing, the post Double or Nothing episode, I get to do that.
All right. Plus, Shep said he's going to get me a hat.
So.
Yeah. So, and remember, if I lose, Shep's getting me a hat. So I'll wear the hat. I'll be Roadkill on the screen. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, we still got the big running bet between me and Shep for All In August. If it's the big trios main event that we all want, then I'm in trouble and owe Shep a wrestling shirt of his choosing, and I got to do 2 shots of his choosing too. But if it's not CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite, then opposite goes for him.
Hey, you know what? I'll go in on that too. I'll go 50-50 with somebody on a shirt or 50-50 on drinks.
All right.
I'm whoever. I'm not even picking a side.
Well,
Just going 50-50 with the loser.
I got some crazy cousins in Kentucky that make that moonshine stuff. So.
Yeah, I'll have to get a hold of my buddy whose family makes the Polish whiskey I had at the wedding a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm just gonna help somebody buy a shirt and take some shots. That's all I'm doing. I don't care who it is.
Of course. Hey, coming around that pay-per-view time, that'd be really close to Tanner's bachelor party, right?
Yeah.
I'll already be married by that. So.
Oh yeah, that's August 5th.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought it was September 5th. Oh, you're August 5th.
Yeah.
All right.
You should have a save the date. Jeez.
I do. It's on the fridge, but you think I look at that stuff? My wife's in charge of that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, August 5th is the wedding. So
Stay tuned for a special edition of KOP August 5th as we live stream Tanner's wedding.
That would be an interesting one.
well, what are we going to do about the bachelor party in July? That's when we should go live.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Everybody, all of Tanner's friends.
Oh boy.
Because all of Tanner's friends probably, they know of professional wrestling, but
A lot of them make fun of me for it.
yeah, so do mine. It happens.
Yeah.
It's all right. I tell them it's
I don't
just like
have
watching their
friends,
favorite show or movie.
But if we have your friends live on a mic and they're making fun of you, and you have Paul and I questioning those guys,
True.
Yes.
that could be very entertaining.
True.
And I have a video camera. I'm just saying. And it shoots in like 4K. So
Well, if Paul has that, I have cocktail buying. So,
We're set. Set.
and I mean, if we have the bachelor party at the H&H Dance Studio, I don't know if you guys know what that is. Wink, wink. We could really go live.
people who aren't from our area are searching Agent H right now.
Let them
Let them go.
go.
I mean, we're lucky in our area in northern Indiana. We have the H&H Dance Studio. Just a legend.
Are we lucky though?
You know,
Weren't we going to wrap this like 10
Yeah,
minutes ago?
Paul's been waiting to wrap this up. Paul E. Zartman. Paul E. Zartman. That's your new nickname.
It's a D.
Well, the E now on this podcast. The wise man.
although,
Paul Zartman.
hey, but your boy Munt, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to get him drunk and party with him.
Oh, he's pretty funny. I'll tell you a story off air here in a minute. So.
Ooh.
Ooh. All right.
All right.
Wrap it up,
Be
Paul.
sure. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
What are you on?
Well, be sure to check out kickingoutshop.com so you can support a great podcast, look great doing so. You can get a What Are You Drinking shirt like Shep's wearing. I didn't throw mine on tonight, but you can get a rabbit hole shirt. You can get, if I had the pencil, you can just get the logo. We've got all sorts of things to choose from on there. And don't we have like a promo going on right now, Tanner?
Spring 23 through Memorial Day gets you 20% off.
So there you go. Go save some money and support a great podcast while you look great doing so. Be sure to follow the Kicking Out Podcast on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. And be sure to listen to the Kicking Out Podcast wherever it is you listen to your podcast. If it happens to be Apple Podcasts, leave us that 5-star review because we are 5-star KOP. It'll be home soon. Don't worry. Anyway, as the reigning and defending KOP Predictions champion brings out the belt, be sure to follow us all on social media. Follow Tanner Lee at TannerLee92. Follow your KOP Predictions champion, Austin Shepard, at the Shep27. Be sure to follow myself at Paul Zartman921. And with that, for Tanner Lee and Austin Shepard, I'm Paul Zartman. Join us again next week as we kick out yet another podcast.